Hello, movie and entertainment fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Calvin Camp Podcast, the podcast where we tackle all sorts of topics in film, television, and video games. I'm Calvin, and today's episode, we get to hop over and talk about another one of my favorite subjects in the world, video games. And joining me today is my special guest, my brother.
Drum roll, please. Yep, that's me. My name is Nicholas Campbell. I'm Calvin's brother. I've been Calvin's brother for a long, long time. And I'm super excited to talk about today's podcast. It's a topic that we share a lot of common ground in. And I mean, it's been a part of our lives for a long time.
Yes, it has. So without further ado, we will start this episode, which is my most anticipated video games of 2023.
Woo!
Let's get into it. Just like before with my most anticipated movies of 2023, I have created a list of games that I am most excited for coming out this year. And I have been playing video games for a long, long time, as Nick says.
Yep, indeed.
So, as long as I can remember, really, like maybe 4 or 5 years old. But I started off with the original Nintendo and then moved on to Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era, Mario, Sonic, and everything in between. I played countless video games, and I received like so many games from like my family.
Definitely. And yeah, coming off of that era, I kind of joined in, obviously. Yeah, I was born in 2001. So, growing up with CJ, I got to experience basically the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 1 era up to the PlayStation 3, and kind of the newer consoles that came out. We played a lot of games together. We would often either share the remote or share a TV screen, and we'd split screen games. It was definitely something that I always looked forward to every day, playing games with my brother. Yeah. And kind of watching him go through these crazy, scary games that were foreign to me as a 5-year-old. So just seeing him every day kind of play these games, it was very fun and very exciting. So I've always loved games, and it kind of launched me into playing video games on my own, which has become a major part of my life for the past all of my life. So for a majority of my life,
it's such a major part.
Definitely.
It all started with Larry for me.
I think it was really Larry, Neil, and you.
Yeah,
I just everybody playing games around me. Somebody's on the DS, somebody's on the Nintendo. It's a crazy thing.
My uncle gave me a PlayStation when I was like 7, and one of the first games that I ever fell in love with was Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, one of the best games ever.
Yeah, we played that so much, a shit ton. So
yeah, I remember just, the original Crash Bandicoot was just so legendary. Playing that, and then also going between Spyro, and maybe later on down the line we played SSX Tricky and just other classic titles. Oh, beautiful game. A beautiful, beautiful game.
Yes, it was. It was a great game. And so, through the years, I've always loved video games, and I've held a very, very special place in my heart for them. I'm not just addicted, okay?
Yeah.
But now we're in 2023, and this year is dropping a lot of games, and it's going to be madness. There are so many games I am interested in, and all of them are going to hurt my wallet.
Yeah, no kidding. Talk about funds gone. My
know.
paychecks are disappearing out of my hands.
I'm trying to be better, okay?
It gets harder and harder each day I see a new game on Steam.
It truly does, and Steam is like so tempting. It's the devil.
Yeah, it's got me sinning left and right, that's for sure.
It's like, hey, you want this sweet, sweet sale? Well, guess what? Here it is.
Here's a bunch of games you never played before, and you never will play.
Guess what? You have 5 days to get one.
And you're going to buy all of them.
So, I mean, at least out of all of the platforms, Steam does the best sales for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Just, it really knows that it can give a lot of games to its fans, and they can kind of experiment with these sales to get people to play new and more, various games.
Yeah. It's a sale captures my attention immediately. So
it's the best 4 words I've ever heard.
But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the list. Nick does not know what my list is, so it'll be interesting.
Not a clue.
A few games on the list will have already come out by the time this airs, so just bear with the episode. So, starting the list off is the one and only One Piece Odyssey.
Ooh, okay.
It's releasing on January 13th, and as a huge One Piece fan, it was an easy pick for me. One Piece is next to my favorite anime. I'm trying to get Nick to dive into this, because he has no idea how amazing it's going to be.
It's something I've really tried to get into, and then I always watch another show, and it gets pushed back on the list. But I've seen about the first 200 episodes. So for me, it's definitely something that always intrigued me, seeing these One Piece games, and this new one especially I've been seeing all over TikTok and all over YouTube, and it's just like, damn, if only I knew anything about this show, I would play this game.
It is a really, really good game. And One Piece is probably one of the greatest stories ever told. The world, the characters, their relationships on the journey together through the ages, truly amazing. I can honestly say there will never be anything like One Piece again. I think that One Piece is peak.
It's the one.
I truly do. I love, we started off with Dragon Ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I absolutely am in love with One Piece.
And I think that even though, while I haven't watched One Piece yet, looking at these original animes that came out before One Piece, they really inspired One Piece to be the same, if not better, than all of them. One Piece can take away, a lot of the greatest things from the animes, such as Dragon Ball, these kind of intensity and love for these characters, this sense of unity in this group, and a lot of what the original Dragon Ball stood for, which was adventure and understanding kind of this sense of friendship and bond between these characters. And I think that's something that One Piece not only took, but completely evolved to be its own thing, if not be completely better than everyone else in the game.
Yeah, One Piece Odyssey is a definite pick. If you're looking for the game to satisfy your anime cravings, it should be this one. One Piece Odyssey is taking the Straw Hat crew on a new adventure, and the gameplay and graphics so far look incredible. I don't know much of the story of the game, but I can't wait to join the crew again and find out what's going on and uncover the mystery.
Definitely.
So let's move on to the second game. So this game
interesting
is, I have mixed feelings about, just because this game has come out already.
Yeah.
The game is called Forspoken. So Forspoken is a new IP from Square Enix and PlayStation. It reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy, and so I was very hyped for it. Apparently, it's not doing so well on the ratings. It's getting 6 out of 10s. So.
Yeah, I haven't really seen anything about this game. It's something that's kind of flown under my radar. But from what I have seen, this kind of open world fantasy, almost Final Fantasy RPG, definitely didn't look amazing to begin with in the gameplay trailers to me. Seeing this kind of barren gameplay and this kind of sense that it felt more strand together in this very massive open world that just fell very flat. It's something that it's been a lot of issues for games that are kind of open world, is making them feel lively. And I think that this is one of the examples that it just didn't work.
Yeah, 100%. In the footage that we got, I thought it was just alpha footage. I thought that it was just okay, this game is clearly still being worked on. But when they dropped the demo at the Game Awards last year, I downloaded it immediately. I played a little bit of it. It was okay. It really reminded me of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Just because the aesthetic is kind of that.
It's similar.
But it still didn't feel like the best. And I only, judged that off of it being a demo. So I was like, okay, there's probably a lot to work with.
Absolutely. Coming from... we had the Xbox 360 growing up. We played a lot of indie games and a lot of demos. So
yeah.
truthfully, it's something to know that sometimes the demo doesn't obviously reflect the final game and the end product that is released. But unfortunately, it looks like not much really changed within the studio's work. And I don't know if that was any creative issues between the studio or if that's just how the game happened to release.
And also, side note, so great that we got a demo, actually.
I know.
Demos don't exist, so...
I was really, it's really interesting because I didn't play the demo, but when I'd seen that, I was like, I do see these early alpha tests for like PC and stuff, but you never really see demos anymore, especially for these bigger title games. You know, growing up with indie games and demos being the rage on Xbox 360,
Oh my God,
it's
yeah.
truly sad to see that it's become a smaller and smaller market by the day, and consoles just don't even really support many indie games unless they have a budget to them, or these triple title games just don't think it's necessary to have a demo or a form of playtest, which I think truly helps with gauging how the game is going to release. I think obviously they might have removed that because it might drive down profits when people realize the game isn't what it lives up to.
That's true, because everybody's very critical nowadays versus back then, because back then we ate everything up.
Exactly. We were so excited to play the next thing, you know, you never
Yeah.
knew what the next thing was. And now it just feels like it's these major companies that are releasing almost the same game every year, or, you know, it's become very stale. But not to say that there hasn't been a lot of good games.
There's so many good games, but like comparatively to back then, we got like the most random fucking shit. And it was fucking peak. Like,
We would play games all the time on the console, on the Xbox 360, and it just felt like, you know, you never knew what you were going to play. We'd buy a $1 game, and it was what, like I made a game with zombies in
oh
it.
yeah, dude.
Like-
I made
It just
a
like
game
it made no sense.
zombies in it.
It made no sense why it needed to be a game. And was it worth the $1? Absolutely. I had a great time playing
Dude, I
it.
played that for hours, bro.
Yeah. So I mean, while I feel like we've strayed a little bit from the topic,
Oh, it's whatever.
it definitely feels that, you know, demos with games are very important, and because we see less and less of that, we kind of don't really know what we can expect with games, and that's why I feel like games fall flatter when they don't have these kind of alpha tests or demos, and they ultimately release with a poor gameplay mechanic, and it just doesn't do well.
Yeah. And getting like, I don't know if you remember, Nick, but when I was little or younger, whatever, for PlayStation 1, I had demo discs that
Absolutely.
had like 10 or 15 demos
I
on
would,
it.
I would literally see you play those things, and like you'd pop them in all the time, and I was just like, "What is this? I don't know," but it's apparently a new game.
We got like Twisted Metal, Tomb
Oh, so
Raider,
good.
etc.
It was really awesome.
But yeah. Anyway, back to the topic. Forspoken apparently isn't doing that well. Hopefully, the devs kind of fix it up a bit. And you know, nowadays a lot of times when games release, they aren't so good. But you know, give it some time.
Yeah.
A lot of improvements have been made for many
seen,
games.
We've seen this example with Destiny 2. We've seen this example with Battlefront 2. We've seen this example with No Man's Sky, even though I will
Cyberpunk.
Not, I will not be returning to No Man's Sky. But still, we've seen these games that have come out with poor releases, but they've developed into something special and are worth the return for.
Even Days Gone. That's a great example.
I honestly
actually.
want to play that game.
It's
I really think I
amazing.
should.
It's so fun. Deacon John.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, so that being said about Forspoken, it comes out on January 24th. And last for January is the Dead Space remake.
I know you've been really excited for this one. I mean, growing up, this was something I saw you play all the time between this, Kingdom Hearts, and maybe Final Fantasy and Resident Evil. Like, I saw these four games the most, and if not the most out of them, it was Dead Space.
That is the description of my game types that I love.
Yeah, and as a little 10-year-old watching him play this game, I don't think I should have ever watched him play this game.
Oh my god, it was so funny. Like I remember when you and Anthony would come over, Anthony came over to your grandma's house, right?
Yeah.
And we were playing it in Dream's room, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, I watched you play this game with Anthony and with our family, and just, it was so terrifying, such a horrifying experience, and just something that, I mean, it was so amazing and incredible, this sci-fi adventure, but it's not an adventure I'd ever want to be on.
Not to mention the main character is dope as fuck. His name is Isaac Clarke. He is a ship engineer, and that's all he is, and that's the best part of it. It's like he's just on a mission to go fix some lights, and all of a sudden he's in hell.
Yeah, and that's probably the worst part about the game, is that Isaac Clarke is the space engineer that's just only there to really do one thing, and he gets wrapped up in this 3-game trilogy of almost dying every day.
He's just an engineer, man.
God, it's horrible.
I love it too, because it kind of reminds me of other games like Alan Wake. Like Alan Wake, he was just a writer.
I know, and I what's funny is I remember watching you play it when we were younger, but not that well. And then recently I saw that they remastered it for the PlayStation.
Yes,
and
they did.
and we played that together, that first part of it.
Oh my
And
god.
oh man, was that a crazy experience. I was like, I have no idea what I'm getting into. Does this make any sense?
Nope,
No.
but it's dope. No, the game's great. But yeah, Dead Space, it's up there easily in my top 5, but it sucks because the original devs got laid off from EA, and so it was just really like it was shitty. It was a shitty move.
It's a bad, obviously I don't know what they may have gotten laid off for. Or
Nothing bad. It was just an EA. EA just sucks ass. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me guess, it's because EA is a horrible company, and they've just made all these bad decisions. It seems like as of late, they constantly shut down these games that are otherwise successful, or they just completely tarnish the name of games that they happen to now own and distribute under.
And some hit, some don't. More
That's
don't
true.
than not, though, and that's the problem.
Especially
so.
as of late. But I hope that with that being the case, this Dead Space remake stays faithful to the game. And I'm excited for it because, I never really got to play, nor never really wanted to play Dead Space when I was younger. And now I feel like it's an opportunity for me to play the game finally and experience it in both an original and very different way.
Dude, it's insane. Like, have you played it at all?
No, I have not touched it.
Oh my god, bro. Before you leave, maybe we should play a little bit of that.
Okay. No, I don't know what I'm signing up for.
No, it's really good. The atmosphere, it's weirdly different.
Okay.
It's the same, but the atmosphere is so much more intense that I'm like, I don't know this game. And even more so, they changed the AI. I know the layout of this game perfectly.
Yeah.
I have played it many of times.
Absolutely.
I go into this room. I talk to the fellow NPCs that are across the tram station. They're like, gotta fix the trams, Isaac. I'm like, okay. I turn to the left, where normally I would know there's only one door.
Uh-oh.
But this time, there was 2 doors. And I was like, that's not right. There's supposed to be just one door here. I don't like this.
Yeah, that's definitely not fun, especially because you're like going into it thinking, oh, I know this game. I mean, I'm excited. It's going to be scary, but it can't be anything crazy. And then you're like, wait a minute.
No, it's different.
I don't know this anymore. Uh-oh.
Yeah. I proceed to go through this door. I go through a couple of rooms, and then I get to the room where you fix one of the tram cards. It's just a normal room. It's just a dead end room. There's a door on the other side of this dead end room that was never there. So I'm like, I don't like this.
No.
I don't like this.
No, not at all.
So they changed the ship. They made it more like of an open ship.
Okay.
And
Oh.
it's different. So
that's scary.
It is.
That's a bit horrifying.
I'm out of my comfort now.
Yeah, not so linear and way more scary.
But let's keep moving forward into February. So in February, we get to visit the magical wizarding world of Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter and
Harry Hogwarts.
Harry Pogwarts. In Hogwarts Legacy, the much controversially hated game that's doing so fucking well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously knowing of the controversy with J.K. Rowling and all of the in-between with that kind of world that she's spinning.
Yeah.
I'm still a big fan of the game, and I've always been a big fan of Harry Potter. So I feel like moving into the game while I'm hoping and trying to find the time to play it, I think it's super exciting. And I mean, watching the gameplay, I've seen the gameplay,
man.
and people are already working on mods to improve things, even add multiplayer to the game. I mean, it's just, not that
I
it's
saw the mods. Yeah, the multiplayer mods. Let's go.
Yeah, not that it's necessary, but at the same time, super exciting, especially because this is like the most in-depth game for Harry Potter, if not for any kind of story game I've ever seen before.
Yeah, dude. It's unbelievable. I've only played about an hour of it. This is my problem. So
Yeah.
I got the game and then realized, I was already halfway through a game, and I'm like, I can't play this until I'm done with this.
Yeah, I have that struggle a lot, and it feels like I often abandon games when I'm halfway through one, or I go on to another one, and I get caught up in multiplayer games. But, I'm hoping that I can find the time to play this game because this is something that's always intrigued me, and this game looks phenomenal. And not only does it look phenomenal, it's doing phenomenal because it is phenomenal.
Yes. besides the boycotting.
Minus the minor thing.
Besides the boycotting, it is the most viewed game on Twitch with 1.2 million views.
That is incredible.
Or 1.2 million streams, I think. Wow. Yeah, isn't that insane?
That is awesome. I've seen a lot of streamers playing it, but I never really thought it was that successful. But
yeah, it's doing so well. Like it's getting it's funny because it's getting review bombed, but it's clearly like people are giving it literally 1 out of 10 because of because of the comments.
I think with the comments and how that affects the Harry Potter universe, I obviously think it's kind of hard not to boycott these things when these issues are very prominent. However, the game itself, I think the reason why it's been so successful is because it does move away from this Harry Potter character and kind of builds on the world that we've all come to love and enjoy. I've seen so many streamers and people playing the game that never played the games or never watched the movies or never read any of the books. And so it's kind of incredible to see all these new fans and these new people trying out this game. Even people who hate Harry Potter are playing this game. And it's just shown how impressive this release is and just how people are so excited for something like this game.
This game released on February 10th. And as a PlayStation user, you were able to access the game 72 hours early. So everybody was already out there doing their wizard thing. And Harry Potter came out on February 10th on the next gen consoles. I believe it comes out later in the year. We're moving into March now. There's only one game in March that I am looking forward to, and that is Resident Evil 4's remake.
Ooh.
Yes, it is it's the second remake so far on this list. There are more.
Interesting, of course. They've run out of ideas, so they're going to make what works.
But at the same time, what's really great about remakes is we don't get to see some stories get lost in the void.
Absolutely. And, even with my little banter comment right there, I feel that remakes offer a new opportunity for both old and new players to kind of play the game and enjoy this game in a new experience, but also maybe shine the light on some games that have overlooked in history.
Yeah, entirely. I'm still hoping for many remakes out there that I want to see give love.
I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I need a remake of Crash Bandicoot Twin Sanity now. Where is that game? Please give it to me. I will pay you everything I have.
I really want a remake of Dante's Inferno.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
Yes, I really, really do. And there was supposed to be a Prince of Persia remake, but apparently it got canceled, and I'm upset about it. Yeah. Or I don't know if it was delayed or canceled, whatever, but it's lost in production.
It's Ubisoft, correct?
I believe, the original devs were Ubisoft.
Okay.
I don't know anymore.
I know that they, maybe in the past, maybe it isn't anymore, but I remembered in the past that they kind of cut the game because of the success of Assassin's Creed, which I think is truly a shame because Assassin's Creed is amazing, but Prince of Persia is just so special. And even with the issues that it kind of suffered, it really is a game that deserves more praise and more shine, especially with a remake.
Absolutely. I believe so. But we've gotten great remakes from Resident Evil. We've gotten 2 so far. Not to mention just like HD remakes.
Absolutely.
As well. But full remakes, we got Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. So now we're getting 4. I can hope for 1.
Yes.
Yeah, because I would love number 1 to be done in that style. But I feel like they're just going to move, up the list and just constantly remake till they get to probably 7 would be my guess. 5 was amazing.
Oh, so good.
6 is a great action game, but like 7 and 8 are great games, but they don't need to be touched for remakes. So
absolutely, and I think 7 and 8 are so fresh, so recent in our heads. And I mean, they're so different from anything we've kind of played before, while also being in the same world and same story. And I think that especially with these new remakes, they give this opportunity for these older games to then kind of have this same shine and same kind of reworked gameplay that adds a whole new experience and fits it within the realm of these current games.
Yeah, and I'm just happy to be playing as Leon Kennedy again.
Absolutely. I just can't wait till they make number 5. That's going to be very exciting.
Chris.
So good. However, I am very excited for Resident Evil 4, and I think it'll be a really cool remake because I've only played the original it's been so long since I played the original. So playing it again, I think, will be a really fun experience.
Yeah, the game comes out on March 24th, and it's gonna be awesome.
Definitely.
Moving into April, after waiting for so long, we finally get to play Dead Island 2.
Yes,
and
yes,
I guess
yes.
that it actually got pushed forward a week.
Woo!
So that's even cooler, and that never happens. The game is done and ready to be released.
You love to see that, and I hope that with it being pushed forward, that means they are very, very confident in this release and that it is going to be good, because Dead Island 1 was such a great experience growing up. I mean, I played that with all of my school friends who were, we're definitely not supposed to be playing that game, but it was just, an amazing game, and I love it so much. It really did a lot for the genre of zombie games, and I mean, you even see this in games like Dying Light 2, where they open up with the Who Do You Voodoo Bitch record inside the building that you start at. I just love seeing...
Yeah, that shit's tight.
Oh, so good. I love seeing this game, and I've been so excited for years and years of just silence, and now it is finally going to be released.
Yeah, for those of you who do not know, Dead Island is a post-apocalyptic zombie survival game on which you could play as one of 4 characters.
Yeah, I believe it was 4 characters.
And you would have to survive a zombie apocalypse on the island.
Yeah, and it was a really fun game that drew a lot of influence from games like Left 4 Dead and Resident Evil, but also making it an entirely different experience, something that we've really kind of never seen before, but this zombie survival style game. We see this with the likes of many other games, obviously.
We have tons.
There's plenty of games
Dead
that are like
Rising,
this. Absolutely.
Dying Light.
But this game was really kind of that beginning success for this genre, and this kind of idea of choosing your own character, but having this kind of story-based influence.
Yeah. An interesting fact about this game is they're actually taking away a mechanic that I really love as a gamer, and it's a skill tree. They are removing skill trees from the characters, and replacing them with like cards.
Okay.
In the sense of, did you ever play Back 4 Blood?
No, I did not play that game.
So Back 4 Blood had a card system.
Okay.
Like you gotta hold so many cards, and each card's a perk.
Oh, it's so it's like a perk specialist system.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, off the perk.
Off the perks. Yeah. Okay. I get it. I think that's actually kind of interesting, especially because skill trees are a large part of games, and while I do like them, at the same time, it does kind of make it a bit grindy, and you have to really choose what you're going into and focus on what you're going to utilize in these skill trees. And on top of that, it feels like you have to really unlock a lot of things in order to get to the place you want to be.
Yes.
Which isn't bad. Obviously, that's meant to drive you to play the game. However, I think if you're just somebody who wants to casually pick up a game and get into it, that sounds like a really good system for this kind of game mechanic.
I think that's exactly what they're going for too. Is they want
simplicity.
They want simplicity. I believe that it's more of a heavily Microsoft-funded game.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. It's not exclusive, I'm pretty sure. But
I don't think so.
But I know it's developed by them, and they're trying to get more fans so they can build the brand up a little bit more. Did you hear the Game Pass news recently?
I did not hear the Game Pass news.
Well, they got caught in lying about the Game Pass sales.
Really?
Yeah, because they said everything's been on the rise.
It's been on the decline.
It's been on the decline the whole time. They got caught. They had to admit that it's really hurt game sales.
I guess that makes a lot of sense. Not to say that it isn't impossible to have these kind of Game Pass games and this system where you get to experience these games for only a certain amount of, pay or price. I just think that the biggest issue is that they really kind of market these games too early on into the Game Pass. And so it really disinterests people into playing these games, even though they have such easy access to the game.
I feel like it wouldn't be good for developers either.
Definitely. I think that it hurts these titles, and it hurts, not only the success of the game, but the actual money made by the game, which, while I don't really care about how much money these people are making, at the same time, it's a big deal. And if we want to see these games continue to be successful instead of seeing games that we see over and over and over again, then we're going to have to support these devs.
Yep. So, and of course, I'm going to support the little man.
Absolutely.
But Dead Island 2, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good good time. You're in Los Angeles this time, so much bigger than the
Much
previous
bigger,
game.
much bigger island, I suppose.
Yeah, the land of angels.
Deadland. Okay.
It's always a fun time kicking zombie butt. So.
Absolutely.
And in the last week of April, another much anticipated sequel will be making its way out. It is Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for this game. You know, I haven't really played a lot of games recently, of course. It's been, a very busy time, but one game that I made sure to play was Jedi Fallen Order, and it was absolutely one of the best games I have played ever, especially as a big Star Wars fan. It was something to look forward to, something that gives me hope for the future of the franchise, especially both in what the franchise is and the gaming side of things. It was something that is a story that I feel needed to be told and is just really intriguing, especially because I always wanted a game similarly to the Jedi Force Unleashed games, and I felt that for a long time we never really got something as close as we did with this.
And the success of the first game put Cal Kestis, the character, on the map, dude. He is one of the best new Star Wars characters there is.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely, he's an amazing character. And when I went to Disneyland, I made sure I got his lightsaber. It is probably one of my favorite lightsabers, even though it's rather simple. At the same time, it's just really beautiful. But overall, himself as a character, he is just so important. And people really, really resonated with this game.
Oh, another fun fact for the game is the dev team, they really were listening to the fans, and they finally are giving us the much wanted fast travel option because those maps are horrendous to get around.
Absolutely. I mean, it was literally like the worst thing ever. not to hate on the game because I love it, but it was definitely rough to get around.
Well, you got to get all those collectibles.
Exactly. I mean, I'm going through every corridor and I'm like, do I even need to be here? Where am I? Where's my ship? I need to get back to the ship. I mean, it was just a crazy experience. And now that we get this fast travel, which I also heard comes with the potential of rideable mounts.
Let's go.
I did hear about this. I am not certain if this is true. I hope it's true. But I did hear about fast travel and rideable mounts.
That's cool. I will definitely gladly ride a Rancor.
Absolutely.
So this game is set to release on April 28th, and I cannot wait to play it. Now on to May. We have 3 games that are coming out. First one being Redfall. So Redfall is a single-player co-op first-person shooter that reminds me a lot of Left 4 Dead.
Okay.
Or Back 4 Blood or whatever.
Okay.
But it is vampires instead of zombies.
Weird. I've never heard of this game.
Oh, you really haven't?
This is something that completely flew under my radar.
Okay, so Redfall is going to be dope.
Okay.
You and a party of your friends, like up to 4 people, I believe.
Okay, sounds really cool.
We'll get to explore a world that is being taken over by various vampires and various vampire types.
Ooh.
And you have to fight your way through it. And the characters look really fun and interesting. What has caught my attention the most is that they have super extensive skill trees per character.
Okay.
So
Damn.
moving back out of skill trees from Dead Island and into skill trees for Redfall.
And I think that applies better to this kind of case because I feel like Dead Island is a game that is much more simple and wants you to just jump into it versus what this game sounds like it's going to be is a very focused experience game where you're supposed to really try to level up your characters and focus on developing your own skills.
And it looks like it has like a really good, like it's a really good co-op story campaign. That's not something you see a whole lot.
It's a story campaign.
Yeah, it's a story campaign.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's super exciting then. I would definitely want to play this.
Yes.
We should play this together.
Yes, it's going to be a fun one.
This comes out when?
It comes out May 2nd,
Ooh,
and
okay.
it should be fun. It is an Xbox exclusive.
Ah.
But hey, we got
PCs.
PC.
Hey, yeah, that's
we got
right.
PC.
I totally forgot.
Hop on. So this comes out, May 2nd, and it should be fun. Next, we have the game that's possibly going to win Game of the Year. If not Hogwarts Legacy, it will be The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
This is super exciting.
Which, we just got a trailer for.
I didn't watch the trailer.
Oh my God, we just got a trailer for
When did it release?
It was like a couple days ago.
I gotta watch it. I mean, recently I played through the last Legend of Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, and it was just an experience that I didn't even think I would ever get. It was something I've always wanted from The Legend of Zelda, and we've always kind of teetered on this open world aspect of the game. But this was a completely open world game, and it was something that was so different, but felt so familiar at the same time, and really struck a new chord with the game itself. This new aesthetic, this new style, and just all the new gameplay mechanics that you basically make your choice as you go along the story.
This is the 20th main Zelda entry.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
not including remakes and collections.
Now, if you don't mind me interrupting you real quick, what is your favorite Legend of the Zelda game?
My absolute favorite Legend of Zelda game is Wind Waker for
great choice.
the GameCube. It
Oh.
is amazing.
Yeah, it is definitely the best choice. I think that if I didn't have Wind Waker as a game, which is also my number one, I would say that surprisingly, my two favorite games are Ocarina of Time, which is considered classic.
That's why it's the GOAT.
That's why he's the GOAT. But actually, my favorite minus Wind Waker is Skyward Sword. I think that's kind of a hot take because I hear a lot of people praise that game, but not a lot of people talk about it.
Well, the negatives that I hear from everyone is they just don't like the mechanics.
See, that's why you just need to have a bigger brain, right?
Exactly. No
I got
monkey
a
brain.
big brain with
No
a
monkey brain.
and I'm still managing to make this wonky ass Wii controller work. Guess what? I'm better at the game than you are, and that's just a fact.
And he gets to enjoy it and you don't.
Yeah.
So
No, I think that game was really special, and sorry to cut you off again, but
no.
I think it was really special. And one thing I really liked about Skyward Sword is it feels like it offers this similar new experience that we get with Breath of the Wild and now with Tears of the Kingdom. This kind of open world, make your choices, here's these side quests, and a whole new aesthetic to the game genre itself.
No, exactly. You're exactly right. Zelda has so many different kinds of ways that each game plays so different.
Absolutely.
That's one of the best and most unique things about this franchise or series of games.
It's not scared to try new things. I mean, there's all those DS Zelda games that released that are
they're all amazing.
I mean, what was that one? Was it
Minish Cap or
I don't even know. There was one where you had to blow into the DS to
Oh
actually...
shit! What was that? Was that Spirit Tracks? Or...
Yes, it was Spirit Tracks.
Yeah.
I love that game until I broke my DS's I don't even know what you call that horn. I broke the DS horn.
No, yeah, all the DS games were really great. There's so many. Zelda is one of the best, if not the best, and most like nostalgic game character or game series of all time.
Absolutely.
Link is, Link's up there.
Yeah, and I mean, they've always been able to not only improve and try new things, but they've managed to make this character not feel stale over all these years with all these different games where he either wins, he loses, or there's some sort of different ending, different bosses, different main villains. But they've always made this game and these characters feel really fresh and new every time that I've played the game for them.
I mean, look at Twilight Princess.
Oh my God.
It's like they went gothic.
Yeah, and they killed it.
Yeah, so that should be great. It's going to come out in May. I'm not sure exact date, but I'm looking forward to that. And last in May, we have the Rocksteady Studios Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Interesting. Okay.
So for those of you who are Batman Arkham fans, this is exactly the game for you. It's the same universe as the Arkham games, and you play as the Suicide Squad.
Cool. Does this take place after the final Arkham game?
See, that's the thing. I don't know. No.
I was wondering because, I mean, he's not necessarily...
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't played Arkham Knight, it ends with him maybe, but most likely not being dead. But at the same time, we're not really sure. But following that, the fact that he's even in this game and he's fighting against the Suicide Squad, based on what the trailers have showed us, I don't know if they're going to be able to win this.
I am excited to see how it's going to play out. It's a co-op game.
That's super exciting.
So that's another campaign co-op game.
And we are going to play that together.
Yeah. So it should be fun playing with a couple different members of the Suicide Squad. And the most thing that I'm looking forward in the game is to see the last performance by Kevin Conroy. Rest in peace.
He's an absolute beast.
It broke my heart as a childhood hero died.
I mean, how else would you feel? I mean, he is truly the voice, truly the spirit of Batman. He's voiced Batman, and he's been Batman for so long, and he's always shown that talent, whether it be in the animated series, all of the Justice League series, and into the video game franchise. He has always been the choice for Batman, and he is the best Batman.
There's only one Batman, and
that
it's
is
Kevin
him.
Conroy. I've got only one game in mind for June. A new entry in another favorite series of mine, Final Fantasy 16.
Interesting. I've not heard anything about this.
Have you seen a trailer?
No.
We will watch one after.
Understood. I'm behind on the times.
I have loved Final Fantasy since I played number 7 when I was a kid, and I had no idea what was going on because I couldn't read.
Yes. That makes sense.
Being young and knowing nothing about the game, I just was playing for fun.
Yeah.
Only to grow up a little bit more, and I played the masterpiece, which is Final Fantasy X. Played it for PS2 when it came out in Tracy.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's a throwback.
Yeah,
That's wild.
so it was amazing, and I fell in love with the game, the franchise, everything about it. Advent Children came out shortly after that, like a couple years after that, which is one of the best animated movies I've ever seen in my life.
I've never really gotten to experience it myself. I mean, I've played a few of the games, especially of the newer releases, but I never played any of the originals. I've only seen you ever play them when we were in the room together playing games. One that I never actually touched was the last remake. Was it 7?
Oh my God, Nick.
I know. I never played Final Fantasy 7, and I'm still wanting to this day. But I played the other releases, such as 14 and 15. Not all the way through, but I've enjoyed it enough to find myself returning to this franchise.
7 remake is a masterpiece. I don't care. Maybe that's a hot take because everybody likes the original one.
Yeah.
The original one is timeless. Don't get me wrong. 7 remake, holy fuck, amazing. I've played it twice.
Really?
I've played it twice. That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is a lot of dedication.
It is so good. The story is so good. And what's great is it can exist on its own.
Really?
Instead of a remake.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So,
it exists as its own place within the story without also remaking the story that it is.
No, it's. I'm not going to spoil this for you, but there is a very big changing event that happens in this game that is completely different
from the original.
Oh. So that's all I'll say. We'll move out of this subject.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 16, though, it's going to be great. It is going to take a different kind of approach on the Final Fantasy series. It looks medieval.
Ooh,
and
that's exciting.
Yeah, that's really different. So, and it looks kind of like the origins of summons.
Okay, I get it.
So,
man, I forgot about summons.
So yeah, summons. I mean, that's like one of the best parts of Final Fantasy.
I know.
So, Final Fantasy gave birth to many franchises. Kingdom Hearts, my favorite game of all time.
Absolutely.
And Nick has watched me play that probably more
hours
than
and hours on end. So. I never got a chance to play what I wanted to play because he's playing Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. So. But yeah, medieval setting should be interesting. I'll be playing it on June 22nd.
Cool.
So that'll be fine. And so now would be a good time to transition the show into our intermission. So we'll be right back. There are so many ways you, the fans listening to the Calvin Camp podcast, can help support the show grow to become bigger and better. Follow the show on all the main audio streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, and Amazon, as well as the Calvin Cam YouTube channel. You can just go there, click the subscribe button and the notification button, and give some of those videos a like. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, brother. Go there and make sure you subscribe and like to the channel, and make sure that you follow for more content down the road.
All right. Welcome to the intermission. Woo! We are going to begin with a trivia question. I am going to ask Nick a film, television, or video game question.
Okay.
And you can answer
as I please.
As you please.
Absolutely.
Okay, Nick.
All right.
Question.
Okay. Answer.
What is the highest selling video game console of all time?
Wow. Okay, this is a tough one. I feel like the answer, and maybe I'm wrong, this could come from bias, but is it the PlayStation 4?
No, it is not the PlayStation 4.
Is it the PlayStation 5?
No, it is not the PlayStation 5.
Really? So it's none of... Is it any of the PlayStations?
It is a PlayStation.
Oh, I think I know what it is. Is it the PlayStation 2?
It is the PlayStation
Yes.
2 with the most sales of all time.
That's impressive.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, one thing's for sure. That console does absolutely deserve all the praise and love that it gets. I mean, it has really established the success and grounds of any console gaming at the moment. And honestly, having grown up with the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox 360, it was always a great time to play on the PlayStation 2 with you. And it just had such a classic energy to it. And every PlayStation exclusive, every game was an absolute banger.
PlayStation 2, more like PlayStation 2 fucking extreme.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, so PlayStation 2 is the answer. And for the fun, we do a fun fact now. The fun fact is, or do you have a trivia question?
I don't have a trivia question. Well, sorry. While it might not be a trivia question for you, I did happen to think of a few questions to ask you. I have 3 games in my mind, and they each came out within the time period that I was born. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to give you a hint for each one of them. Starting with the first one. This game is an FPS shooter. It is one of the most successful games that has released. And having come out in the year that I was born, it won Game of the Year.
Dude, the year you were born was Dude. Okay, so the year you were born, PS2 came out.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh man.
Game of the Year FPS shooter 2001.
Game of the Year FPS shooter 2001. Halo.
Yep, Halo Combat Evolved. That's the answer.
Yep. Haha.
I knew you would know it, and absolutely. I mean, when I was looking at what I could ask you, that was definitely one thing that popped into my head.
That was a good one. That was a good question.
Absolutely. Moving on to the second game.
Okay.
I believe this also came out within the same year. If I'm wrong, I'm super sorry.
It's okay.
This game is a fighting game that features a list of characters that are not typically together. And it is...
Super Smash Bros.
Absolutely. Which one, however?
Ooh. Melee?
Yep, you are correct.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about the theme of the game, but I
mean, Melee's arguably the best one that was...
Absolutely.
I mean, that's hard to say because, like, the new one is great.
And Brawl.
And Brawl introduced Sonic. So
Brawl was big.
Brawl was cool. Brawl had a cool like little story too.
It was
that's
pretty
why
fun.
that's why I like Brawl a lot.
You know, it wasn't maybe the best one, but out of all of them, it really was this kind of unique take.
Well, it had like a full cinematic like story.
Yeah, it was awesome. Super awesome game.
So it was cool.
And now moving on to the third game. This is a game that I had mentioned earlier, and it is a sports game for the PlayStation 2.
I'm gonna say NFL Blitz.
Now you would, I think you actually might be right about that one, but that is not the game I was thinking of. Let me give you my second hint. It has probably the catchiest hook of all time.
Oh, it's SSX Tricky.
Absolutely, I know it's very basic, but I mentioned it earlier, and it was one of the games that came out of my year and was probably one of the most successful games.
I mean,
the
Dad
time.
played that with us too.
Absolutely. I mean, and considering that he didn't play many video games at the time, that was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. Yeah, my dad played that one a lot with us, and that was fun.
Yeah, our dad played games with us all the time, and I mean, while he was kind of moving away from games at that time, he did play a lot of games like SSX Tricky and Gears of War with us growing up, and that was definitely a great bonding experience, especially not only for games, but for the family.
Oh, man, yeah. Me and Dad used to crush it on Soldier of Fortune 2
Oh.
and, like, the first Modern Warfare.
If only I could have played that with you guys.
Oh, dude, it was so amazing.
What a great experience.
But, yeah, so thanks for the questions.
Absolutely.
And that was the trivia part. So now is the fun fact. Fun fact.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat was originally designed to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme fighting game. When he wasn't able to commit to his likeness, his character was changed to Johnny Cage.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm taken aback by that. That is quite the change. That's quite the fun fact. I never knew something like that.
Isn't that crazy?
No, that's wild. That's actually wild. What the hell? That's insane. What a crazy switch right there.
Jean-Claude
Jean-Claude Van Damme
gave birth to arguably the best fighter.
Yeah,
So,
that's actually amazing.
and now I have a game for Spotlight,
Okay.
which is Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Oh.
And oh my god, I'm loving this game so much.
I know when I came over earlier to film this podcast with you, you were playing it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's unfortunately not doing too well on sales, but man, it's worth playing. Go out there if you hear me, play the game. It's like if you like a good deep game, it's a minimum of 75 hours.
And I feel that with this game, it isn't doing well, but partially because it is a completely different game experience. This game experience, from what I've seen him playing the game, is this kind of card-based fighting style game that has animations and is a more physical fighting game than just simply cards. It is kind of interacting with these heroes and choosing your skill sets and choosing the heroes that you fight with. And while I don't know much about the game myself, I think it is very interesting and deserves some praise.
It definitely does. I can't get enough of it. I love it.
Absolutely.
All right, now we are getting back into it. The last
Wait.
half. Nick, do you have a game you want to spotlight?
Yes, I do have a game to spotlight. Actually, I have two games, and while they aren't necessarily the newest of games, they've come out fairly recently. One game is Hunt Showdown. It is a 3-person team extraction game. You can play single player, but it maxes out at teams of 3, and you fight in a 12-person arena-style battle royale concept.
Yeah, I've played it once or twice, I think.
Yeah, and it's a really fun experience. You know, it's something super different from your normal kind of games. And the game is made by Crytek, which is obviously the company that made Crysis, and it is a really beautiful game. It does have its issues, but overall, it's been a really fun experience, and it is something that I always look forward to playing. And it definitely needs a bit more praise than it gets, because I feel that it is quite a refreshing game, considering that we mainly have Call of Duty to look forward to as a multiplayer game.
Oh my god, if it's not Call of Duty, it's another one of those battle royales.
Absolutely, and I can't stand them. Well,
I mean, I like certain ones, but
Absolutely.
like it's a genre that's going away.
it's something that I'm glad to see having come and gone, something that I've gotten to experience, but I'm definitely looking forward to new variations and hopefully new multiplayer games, both co-op and multiplayer traditionally. But the other game I had to mention was Monster Hunter Rise. I believe that is the game. It released a while back on the Nintendo, I believe, but it recently got moved over to Steam. I'm not sure how recent, but I've been playing it as of late with my friends. And if you're a big fan of Monster Hunter and you've played Monster Hunter Worlds, I think this is a really great game to hop into. It's very casual, very fun, and very similar to all of these games, but also feels very new and refreshing. And if you kind of want to get back into this grindy multiplayer game to play with your friends and enjoy building your class and building your armor, I feel that it is a really great game and a really great experience overall.
Well, that's cool.
Yes, indeed.
I heard a game like Monster Hunter just came out called Wild Hearts.
I have not heard about this game.
I believe it's called Wild Hearts. I'll have to look it up after this, but it's supposed to be like a cousin, basically, of Monster Hunter.
Interesting. That sounds really cool.
So-
Monster Hunter is a game that I feel that I personally never really got into, and it's kind of a lot to play. You know, it's a whole lot to do. But I feel that with Monster Hunter Rise, it's an easier way to jump into the game and really enjoy what this game has to offer and kind of feel like you're being able to do stuff in this game without having to give too much time to it.
Okay, let's get back into it. The last half of this list is comprised of games that are set to come out this year with no official release date, and little are known about some of them. So,
Okay.
just some things that I definitely am, ready for.
Absolutely.
First on the last half of this list is Assassin's Creed Mirage, a new installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise that is supposed to take the series back to its roots.
That's super exciting. I mean, personally, I've always been a big fan of the original games, with Black Flag being my absolute all-time favorite.
It's the best one.
Absolutely. It is easily the best game that they've made. Not to say that the other games aren't amazing themselves, But where Assassin's Creed has gone since has been a bit interesting. Obviously, it's divided fans with how they feel about the games. And personally, I don't find them as intriguing or as interesting as the originals. So hearing that this game is moving back to the roots, I'm very, very excited.
Me too. And, the loss of a main protagonist in this series has, I feel, derailed it. We might be getting a more clear line of the story outside the Animuses. So that's what I'm very interested in. I love the characters within the Animus that we have grown to love. I love the shit out of Valhalla.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really, really did. And like a lot of people love Odyssey so much. I think Odyssey's great. I haven't played it more than probably 8 hours, but Valhalla, I 100%ed.
Absolutely. Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out sometime. It's something that I've unfortunately not been able to get to too much. And with the other games, Odyssey and Origins, I kind of wasn't interested, even with the game being successful and being a good game itself. It's just something that didn't intrigue me the same way the original games did. But maybe I'll give it a shot and see how it is.
Yeah, hopefully with the franchise getting back to its roots, everything will get fixed. And it's a franchise that I absolutely adore. So Prince of Persia gave birth to this franchise.
Oh, 100%.
So
Yeah, no kidding.
Fun fact, again, I guess, Assassin's Creed was originally supposed to be a Prince of Persia.
That is an interesting fact. I did hear about it a while back, but Prince of Persia was just such a great game, and it's something that kind of felt like it didn't get as much appreciation that it deserved, especially towards the later end of the game. But that's really interesting that this was kind of the revival of the game in a sense that this game was supposed to be.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Next on the list is Alan Wake 2.
Really?
Yes, a game I've been waiting
for.
for.
They're making another one?
They're making a sequel.
Wow, sequels.
It's been this many, I don't know how many years.
It's been a long,
It's
long
been a
time.
long time. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Alan Wake is back. He is not a writer anymore. He's a survivor.
Uh-oh.
So Alan Wake is going to change up its genre.
Really?
And be a survival horror.
Oh, dear Lord.
So the first one was kind of like a mystery, almost indie game, kind of.
Yeah. From what I've played of it, it definitely didn't feel like it was rather weird.
It's spooky.
It's
it's
definitely
dark,
weird and spooky, but it definitely felt more like a mystery game. You don't really know what's going on, and it isn't meant to scare you so much as it is to intrigue you.
Yes, so number 2 is changing directions and going a little bit more scary this time.
It's meant to make you crap yourself.
So, very excited. Yes, like we talked about it before, Alan Wake is a game that I used to play. Nick watched me play it.
All the time.
I am more than excited to see what the developers have in store for us.
Truly.
Next up in this list is Black Myth Wukong, which I don't know if you've seen. But it's a game based off the legendary Chinese monkey god Sun Wukong.
Okay.
And it kind of looks like a Souls game.
Yes, I've seen this game. For a second, I was drawing a blank. I don't know what was going through my mind, but no, this game is super exciting.
Yeah, it looks very, very polished, and it's only the only footage that anybody's seen is alpha footage. So
that's crazy.
We saw this footage years ago,
and it looked beautiful.
It looked amazing. So they've been working on it, and it's set to come out this year sometime.
Okay, and yeah, I'm really excited for this game. It's something that I feel like, even though I've known very little about, from what we've seen from the gameplay, it looks like it's this Souls type of game, but then it adds a lot of dynamics. He can kind of shape-shift into different forms. I saw him shape-shift into a bee, I believe, and that itself looks like a whole crazy stealth dynamic.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things about Sun Wukong that they're going to bring into this game. And Sun Wukong is one of my favorites, Journey to the West.
Obviously, it's inspired, Dragon Ball.
Goku.
Literally, Goku.
Sun Wukong.
Sun Wukong.
I'd even go far enough to say that, Luffy would be close to him, too.
I feel, obviously, while it is a journey and adventure story, I think that it has inspired a majority of the main characters that we see in most animation, television, and any storytelling.
So the fact that he's getting his game is incredible, and I'm looking forward to it immensely. And then later in the year, I believe this fall, we have the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
Really?
which is
Wait, what?
part 2. See,
Okay.
I knew we were gonna get here, so I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
So,
I
Final
get it now.
Fantasy VII, the original,
Uh-huh.
was split up in this remake to be a trilogy.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So each
It's a trilogy? What the hell?
And that's the best part. Like, to me, each game of this trilogy, this is the entire story of Final Fantasy VII.
Oh,
Each game is an entirely full-length Final Fantasy game.
That's insane.
It's amazing.
What the hell?
So
This must be a crazy story change.
it's really good.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna have to check this out. Especially, I'm definitely gonna have to check out the first one now. Now that I hear that this is coming out,
It is really good. So this one's called Rebirth.
okay.
And it is part 2 of the Final Fantasy remake. So
Damn.
I adore Final Fantasy.
Of course. I mean, it's a special game, and I've seen you play it since we were little kids. And not only that, it's evolved into so much more. I mean,
There's just so many games now.
all these new games and all these remakes, and the story is just all over the place. But it's so crazy how it not only is allowed for new players to kind of hop into the world and be excited, it has brought a lot of old players back and made it super intriguing. I mean, what, 3 parts to this game installment? That's insane.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I'm so happy about this.
I can tell.
I'm so happy about this. So it's great. We're gonna see some familiar faces from part 2 that we didn't get to see in the game in part 1, because we weren't sure how long the game was gonna go, like, into the Final Fantasy VII story.
Yeah.
So it ended at a perfect part, and there are some characters that I cannot wait to run into. And another game near the top where I'm most anticipated for this year is Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
I mean, absolutely. Of course. After playing Spider-Man, which is insane in of itself, I mean, bawling tears. And then
Yes,
you
so
play
sad.
then you play Miles Morales, which you're like, they made it sadder. And now you're seeing them team up for this second game, and then you're getting villains like Kraven and Venom, and I'm like, what is happening?
Exactly. And the Candyman plays the voices Venom.
That's not good.
So
Get away.
I'm super excited. It's going to be great. Venom's obviously a much wanted villain
I mean, absolutely.
in everything. Everything that's Spider-Man, everybody's always wondering, okay, are we going to get to play with the black suit?
Such a great character as a villain and as like a rival / anti-hero. I mean, I'm not sure if they're going to explore the anti-hero parts of it. That's more of like the comics, but with this game, I'm sure we're going to get that black suit. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to I'm sure we're going to get a lot more suits too, just because this year is kind of a Spider-Man year.
Yeah, I mean,
we're getting Across the Spider-Verse. So
Absolutely.
we're probably going to get some outfits from that movie.
Yeah, and I think another thing to note is that with the black suit being a suit in the game, most likely, how is that going to affect the storytelling? What is that going to do to either Peter or Miles, who may end up with that black suit?
I am hoping for a light tree and a dark tree.
Ooh.
That would be fun if it was if it kind of played like I don't know if you ever played Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes,
It
yes,
came
I
out
did.
for PS2. I
Yep.
rented it. I think I owned it at one point, but I remember specifically renting it. Dad actually had to help me get past the part because I couldn't get past this part in the game. No, like, it was ridiculous. You're playing as Venom and you have to, like, button mash and open the door.
course.
I thought I was a pretty good button masher, but
You are.
apparently I was not able to do this, and I was like, so frustrated. And Dad just walks into my room and I'm like, can you help me?
Just crying tears as you hand him the controller.
I hand him the controller, he does it in one go.
That's crazy.
And I was like, oh my god, okay,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
amazing.
Yeah,
course.
so I hope that the game kind of has
Has these dynamics
Yeah.
that we expect, the ones we've come to love, especially from these older games. And I think that we're going to get something like that, especially with this. Hopefully with this game, we do get that dark and light tree. That would be a really cool callback.
It's cool because in I believe it was Ultimate Spider-Man, you could change back and forth.
Yes, I
and
believe so.
Web of Shadows was another game that you could change back and forth. So
A crazy game.
Web of Shadows was dope as fuck. It's a hot take.
I know. Yeah, I was going to say that's definitely something not everyone agrees with, but I think it was really cool.
Oh, it's great. Besides the voice acting, I think it's perfect.
Yeah, more or less.
That was like our first introduction of like symbiotic like heroes too.
And was that also the one with the multiverse? Or
No, that was Shattered Dimensions.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. That one's on rails though. Like,
Oh yeah, I
or not on rails, but like, yeah, it's like linear.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, you're right. I do remember it now.
yeah, so that one's not as open world as Spider-Man. I feel like a Spider-Man game needs to be open world.
Absolutely. I mean, even
So-
if it is super simple, obviously having that open world dynamic where you just get to enjoy swinging around and doing that mindlessly for hours as you go through different, crime events and solving all these different cases and fighting bad guys.
And maybe, just maybe, fingers crossed, we'll get some pizza time missions. That would be awesome.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So that would be a great callback for Spider-Man 2.
Of course.
Um,
Oh, that was such a great thing.
yeah, dude, it's pizza time. Those were the greatest missions for that game. So I guess we're gonna move on to another game coming out, Remnant 2.
Okay.
It's another game that I'm very excited to play. Unfortunately, due to time restrictions in my life at the time, I wasn't able to sink a whole lot of time into the first game.
Yeah, I don't think I've played the first game.
But the
When did
gameplay is really good.
When did Remnant come out?
Remnant
first
came
one?
out probably 2018.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Alrighty.
2017, 2018, and it's like Destiny. It's 3-player.
Oh, I know this game.
It's over.
I got
you
it.
know, over the shoulder. You fight the darkness. It's really cool.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I ever had time to sink into that game as well.
It is very underrated. I feel. Obviously it's not underrated because it's getting a sequel.
And it's getting a lot of praise.
It's getting a lot of praise, but it's a great game. I just don't hear a whole lot of people talk about it in my personal life.
yeah,
So
I feel that.
So I'm excited to play that. So
Hold on. Let me cut you off real quick because I just read the screen. Moving on to the next game. This is the game I'm most excited for is The Sons of the Forest. I know this game has been getting pushed back left and right. I don't care. Take your time, finish this game because The Forest is not only an amazing game, a wonderful game. This sequel is going to be fantastic and I cannot wait.
I actually put this on this list last minute because I had forgot about it.
Disgusting.
I know.
You are shameful.
I'm really hyped for it though. It does have a release date.
Really?
It is coming out at the end of this month.
Are you
like a week and a half?
I thought it got pushed back more.
Nope.
Oh,
I don't. Yeah, the game comes out February 23rd. So that is next Thursday for us.
I can't believe it. I literally am in disbelief. I can't believe that it's coming out that quickly. I mean, it's been pushed back. It was supposed to come out in October, December, and I'm like, where is this game? I didn't even know. I'm over here being like, I'm so excited for this game. I didn't even know it was coming out next week. Now you may not hear from me. I might be playing this game for a long time.
There is a lot of praise for this game, and I am happy that we're finally getting the sequel to The Forest.
Absolutely.
The Forest is a game where you are a dad and you survive a plane crash, right? Or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Or are you a dad?
The Forest is a game where you are a dad. You play as the dad of this son that gets abducted by essentially this cannibalistic tribe of maybe mutant people. I believe that's the gist. And the goal is to find your son and hopefully return home. It has a really dark ending, which you can choose between two endings. Actually, you can be the hero or you can be the villain. And I believe that in the end of this game, following the Sons of the Forest, you actually choose the bad ending, which is, well, it's the good ending. You save your son. However, it does cost the life of another family. And now we see the consequences of what maybe the trauma the son has suffered. And that comes with maybe new abilities and other new issues.
And I heard there's some roaming AI too.
Yes. And they're fucking scary.
Yeah, the AI mechanics have been upped in this game significantly, and the mutants will come and like watch you from afar and
No.
like just like poke their head in every once in a while, check on you.
I'm not. I'm already so excited and so afraid. I cannot wait. And I've seen that they've changed a lot of the big villains
and you get
too.
a robot or an android companion.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you get an android companion. I believe his name is fucking Calvin.
Well, isn't that a coincidence? Welcome to the Calvin Cam podcast.
Welcome to the Calvin Cam. We're in the forest now.
Yes.
So he is super helpful apparently, but you can also get rid of him if you don't like him.
Okay. All right.
But I guess it's super helpful, and he's not the only companion you'll meet in this game. So
Interesting.
that is a very cool turn on, turn off type thing.
That's a really cool feature. And one thing I really love about this game's release is that it looks like they've not only taken what the first game was and just all of the successful things about it and put it into this game, but then they built upon it and in a way that doesn't really take away from the first game's experience. This is going to be another experience within that same world, but also come across as its own unique way and own unique story in this universe. And I'm super excited.
Yep. So the Sons of the Forest comes out February 23rd, and it's going to be a good time. We got to play it together.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, call me anytime. I'll be there.
All right. So moving on to the last most anticipated game of 2023 is Telltale's The Wolf Among Us 2. So I don't know if you ever played
Among Us.
I don't know if you ever played The Wolf Among Us.
I have not.
Wolf Among Us was arguably one of the
I see it everywhere though.
Telltale games there was. Very excited that we're getting a sequel.
Absolutely.
It is a fairy tale setting.
I've definitely,
if you know what it is.
I definitely know of the game. It's something that I've seen a lot. I think it got. I mean, obviously, it is a award-winning game, and it is very praised by the fans. It's just something that I've never gotten into, but I've seen it everywhere. I mean, in stores, on the consoles themselves, in the Steam pages. I've just seen it everywhere. It's something that people have always talked about, but I've never actually gone and played.
Yeah, the Telltale games are amazing, and have you played any of them?
I have played only the Batman one.
Oh man,
I know.
The Walking Dead is
unbelievable. I know. I should be ashamed.
Yeah, the Walking Dead Telltale game is arguably the best Telltale game there is. The Wolf Among Us is a close second for me, but Walking Dead, chef's kiss. So go play those at some point. It's obviously not demanding, but you should definitely experience it.
I should definitely experience it and check it out.
Telltale games are 100% story-driven games. They're choice games where you follow a story. It's like watching a movie and making choices.
I love these kind of games. So fun.
It's so well done, and it plays more off of the comic books for Walking Dead. But Wolf Among Us, obviously, it's the original story, and it's so good. You play as Bigsby. He's the big bad wolf.
Okay.
And he is kind of like a detective of the what do you call the fairy tale like society? There's a word for it.
A fairy tale society has a word?
Yeah, I want to say it's like a fable.
Oh, okay. Of a
fables. Fables.
Fable book. Or like
yeah, Bigsby plays the big bad wolf of the Fables world. You uncover a really, really interesting story and a mega twist at the end, and it's awesome.
Really?
Yes. It's really cool stuff. So go play it at some point.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so that is going to conclude the episode of the most anticipated games of 2023. Thank you so much, Nick, for joining us. It was a great time.
Yeah, I know. I'm really glad to be here. Obviously, it's been kind of hard to schedule me in, but this is a topic, that we both care a lot about. And, with gaming being in this place that it is, that feels like there's a lot to do, but also this sense of kind of being stale. I'm super excited for these games to come out. And, I'm just really excited to see what this new age of gaming kind of brings to us.
Yes, very exciting stuff.
However, I have a question.
Yes.
And maybe it isn't coming out this year. It probably isn't. But do you have any update on the rise of Ronin?
I do not.
Okay.
I didn't see it on the list of games to come out this year. It it could have been. I went to Polygon.com. That's where I looked at my list.
I mean, that's good.
And a bit of GameSpot too, but I did not see Rise of Ronin. So maybe I overlooked it. Maybe not.
I mean, I haven't heard anything personally from the game myself besides the trailer that they released at the PlayStation convention. But, it's something that I've always looked forward to, especially with Ghost of Tsushima being such a successful game and these kind of new samurai, almost Western games. They feel very
interesting.
Very interesting game style that has now become a fan favorite, and we're going to see probably a lot of recently.
Yeah, but I'm very hyped for Rise of the Ronin. I wish it were to come out this year. But
I hope that at least we get more information with it and that we get to see kind of what it's about.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. Nick, do you have anything you want to say to the fans?
I don't really have anything to say left to these fans. I'm just kidding. I am hopefully going to be back on the podcast soon enough. I've come up with a couple ideas and we're working on a couple ideas together. So hopefully you'll see me back on this podcast. If you wanted to follow me, you can check out my socials. I make art and I like to obviously draw. It is a big career of mine. CJ knows very well. You can keep up with me and my art at on Instagram at wannabeartist, which is at wanna__be__artist. Unfortunately, the original name was taken, so I had to make do. But if you want to follow up with me and check out my Instagram, I make a lot of art and talk to a lot of people, and it's really great to kind of meet new people to talk about these interesting topics with. So I look forward to meeting with any of you who like to reach out and follow me on my Instagram.
That's awesome. Yeah, Nick is a fantastic artist, so you should definitely all go check him out. But that'll conclude the episode, and we will catch you next week.
Woo!
Yeah, let's go. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Calvin Camp podcast. So happy to have you here listening. You can listen to me on all audio streaming platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to follow me on social media, you can hit up Instagram and Twitter at the Calvin Camp. Feel free to go to YouTube and check out my channel, the Calvin Camp. Hit that subscribe and notifications and like button. Please help support the channel grow and get bigger, and we'll only deliver you better and better content as we go. So thank all of you.